Two, one. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the That's Debatable podcast. Hopefully, you all are having a wonderful day, and if you are not, you already know the drill. You have come to the right place. We got some very, very interesting topics to get into today. But before we do that, you guys already know self-promotion time. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, go ahead and do that. For my Instagram, guys, it's in my link in bio. For my Facebook, guys, it's on my feed. Turn post notifications on all three platforms so you're up to date with all the videos. Check out my new track, all that stuff. We getting this summer track out soon, still in the works. We working on that. Got a feature coming on that one too. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk sports. And we're here to talk, some basketball, some sports, some basketball, some, a little bit of everything, because that's what we do on this show. We talk about everything in the sports world. But anyway, we're going to get straight into the first question of the day, and that is, which would be the more intriguing run in the playoffs? Would it be the Warriors or would it be the Lakers? Without a doubt, it's the Warriors. I'm a Lakers fan. I hope y'all know that. Let me get one thing straight before we get into the show. Again, I am a Lakers fan. But when we are talking about what would be the most intriguing playoff run, that is the Golden State Warriors. Do you guys see the show Steph Curry is putting on right now? Imagine him in the playoffs. Imagine him lighting up teams' defense in the playoffs. Remember the last time he was in the playoffs? Remember in 2016 when he had a season like this, what he did in those playoffs? Yeah, so Steph Curry lighting it up in the playoffs is absolutely ridiculous. We know what the Lakers can do with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They're not 100%, and we're going to get into that. LeBron James even said he's not going to be 100% going into the playoffs, but he's going to play because that's what LeBron James does. We know what LeBron and AD are capable of doing together. We know that AD, when he's healthy, he's a top 5 player in the league. We know LeBron James is the best player on the planet. We get all of that. But when we're talking about what would be more intriguing to watch, what would be more entertaining, it would be Stephen Curry, pulling up from the parking lot. When you talk about the greatest shooter that God has ever created, I mean, I don't know what went on there, but the guy can pull up from 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 feet. The guy can do everything. He can shoot from the three-point line, moving without the basketball, his mobility. All of that stuff is great. And when you talk about the most intriguing, show in the playoffs, what would be more intriguing, the Warriors or the Lakers? It would have to be the Golden State Warriors because of what Steph Curry is doing in this season right now. He should be a top MVP candidate, but like I've said on numerous occasions, he's not because of where the Warriors are standing right now. The Lakers, we know what they can do with LeBron and AD there. I think they're going to get to the finals. We're going to get into that later as well. But I think that's what's going to happen. I think the more intriguing, playoff run would be the Golden State Warriors, even though I don't think it's going to play out that way. But I would love to see Steph Curry light up the playoffs. That would mean my Lakers wouldn't be in there, but if there's any other alternative, it would be Steph Curry lighting it up in the playoffs. So, next question. We had the Wizards versus Celtics. Celtics picking up a win over the Wizards last night in the play-in game. Are you more disappointed in Russ or impressed by Tatum? I'm more impressed by Tatum, and I'll tell you why. As disappointing as Russell Westbrook's performance was, I gotta say Jason Tatum was more impressive, because this guy, let me remind you guys, is 22 years old. He's dropping 50. He's averaging almost near 30. He's shooting about 49% from the three-point range, and 44% from the field. 44% from three-point range and 49% from the field, around there. Don't have the exact numbers in front of me currently. But he's shooting very well. He's putting up good numbers. And Jason Tatum is on a different level right now. I mean, when you talk about having Kemba Walker guard Roy Hachimura and Jason Tatum being put on Russell Westbrook, and this is where Russell Westbrook's jump shot comes into play. This is where it comes into play, because Brad Stevens, some people were questioning him. He put Jason Tatum on Russell Westbrook, which is forcing him to take jump shots because you're going to drive. And we saw it a couple times last night. Jason Tatum blocked Russell Westbrook. He locked him up when he got to the rim. And that we all know is Russell Westbrook's specialty, is getting to points around the rim. It is not the jump shot. We've seen how many jump shots he missed last night. He needs to work on that, Jay. And we saw it come into play last night that that jump shot is really, really key in today's game. Jason Tatum locked up Russell Westbrook. I gotta say, I'm more impressed with Jason Tatum than I am disappointed with Russell Westbrook. I get it. By the first half, Russell Westbrook had 12 rebounds or something like that. I get all of that. But what I'm saying here is that Jason Tatum is a 22-year-old that just dropped 50 points on the most athletic point guard of all time. We got to take that into consideration. I just locked him up as well, right? When you talk about a 6'9", guy with a lengthy like Jason Tatum guarding Russell Westbrook, he's gonna make his life difficult, and that is exactly what he did to Russell Westbrook. I'm saying I'm more impressed with Jason Tatum than I am disappointed with Russ. So next question: what are your what are your thoughts on Ty Lue saying he didn't duck the Lakers? Now, look, I respect the hell out of Ty Lue. I respect him. He's one of my favorite coaches. Obviously he coached the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James, went to 3 straight finals, won 1. This guy's a phenomenal coach. I mean, there's no messing around with this guy. When it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what kind of player you are, he will confront you if he has a problem. And let me get one thing straight. When Ty Lue was coming out about the media, I don't care if he was talking about us. I don't care if he was talking about podcasts, if he was talking about ESPN. I don't care what he was talking about, because I'm going to still say what I want to say, right? I said what I said. I think the Clippers ducked the Lakers. I strongly believe that, because you say you say your starters out the final 2 games of the season, and you lose, obviously, and you're saying, oh, we didn't duck the Lakers. You think that because, look, the Clippers are one of 3 teams who have never reached the conference finals. Those are among the Clippers, the Hornets, and the Pelicans, if I'm not mistaken. Those 3 teams have never reached the conference finals. And don't you think that running into the Lakers in the first or second round, especially the first round, would ruin their chances of going to the conference finals? Now, do not get me wrong. I would love, and I've been dying for this matchup, a conference finals matchup between the Lakers and the Clippers. I've been wanting to see LeBron against Kawhi, battling for a conference championship. There's no doubt about that. But for Ty Lue to come out, and I respect the hell out of Ty Lue because he's one of my favorite coaches in the league. This is a guy you cannot mess around with. For him to come out and say that we didn't duck the Lakers, it's complete blasphemy. It's absolute blasphemy because you clearly did. You clearly did. It cannot get more clear than that. Every media picked it up. ESPN, SportsCenter, The Score, everybody picked it up. Even some Toronto pages picked it up. I mean, it's crazy. Again, nobody wants to run into the Lakers in the first round when they're such a low seed. I get that. But you got to do what you got to do. Like Chris Paul said it best the other week. It doesn't matter who you run into. This is the Western Conference. You're going to have a tough matchup either way. So you might as well, you could go up against the Lakers in the first round and play your best and try and get an upset over them in the first round, which would make your run in the playoffs even more, even better. Or you could do what you did and duck the Lakers by losing 2 straight and versing the Mavericks, who has a player on that team, by the way, in Luka Doncic, who hit a game winner over the Clippers last year and gave the Clippers a run for their money last year in the bubble. And we're back in arenas. If you guys think it's going to be worse, it's going to be even better for Luka Doncic, right? Because each team has home court advantage this year. And so that's what we're talking about. Fans are going to be let back in the stands, all that stuff. And so it's going to play a big role. This is the Western Conference. It's the toughest conference it has been for many, many years. And there's no ducking anybody when it comes to the Western Conference. You're going to win. I expect the Clippers to win this series. You're going to bump into the Lakers one time. You're going to bump into them. You're going to play them in a 7-game series, especially if you get to the conference finals. You are going to play them. And so that is what we're talking about. And I think that Ty Lue and the Clippers definitely ducked the Lakers. I completely disagree with his statement. I know he doesn't care. Ty Lue doesn't give a damn what anybody says, and I respect that. But neither do I, right? Neither do I. I just really don't. I really don't care what he has to say about the media saying and all that stuff. Because you clearly ducked the Lakers, and I'm gonna stand by that opinion. I meant what I said. So next question. Who is the biggest threat to Brooklyn in the Eastern Conference? Believe it or not, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. I say the Bucks because look, Philadelphia's good, man. Philadelphia with Seth Curry, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, Danny Green, Dwight Howard, all those guys over there. They have a stacked team. Ben Simmons is my defensive player of the year. Joel Embiid, before he went down, was putting up MVP numbers. We get all that. We know what he does. We know what Joel Embiid brings to the table. He's one of, if not the best big man in today's game. Right, if you're not, or one of the best centers, especially if you're not counting Anthony Davis as a center, which I don't. But I think it's the Milwaukee Bucks. When you look at the athleticism, when you look at the three-point shooting, when you look at the defending, because last time I checked, the two-time reigning MVP is on the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, the guy who just signed a $240+ million contract with the Milwaukee Bucks, a 5-year extension that is, along with Chris Middleton, acquiring Jrue Holiday, which is a big pickup. You guys will see in the playoffs how big of a pickup that was. Could have got Bogdanovich. I'm not even going to get into that anymore. But you have good, surround yourself with Ilyasova, all those guys over there. You have a good squad. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be the biggest threat towards the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference. Philadelphia is obviously there too, and I'm saying it by a hair. They're going to be a bigger threat to the Nets by a hair above the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, the Eastern Conference revolves around those three teams. It's going to come down to those three teams, but in the end, I think it's the Milwaukee Bucks that are going to give the Brooklyn Nets a more run for their money than the Philadelphia 76ers, even though the 76ers are looking really good right now. Can Joel Embiid stay healthy in the playoffs? Even if he can, I still got the Milwaukee Bucks. So yeah. And yeah, not to mention, Giannis currently is averaging 28.1 points per game, 11 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and shooting 56.9% from the field goal. So that is nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at all. So we got to pay attention to that, and that's why I have the Bucks, as the biggest threat. But next question. Will the Lakers repeat as champions? I'm a Lakers fan, like I said at the beginning of the podcast. But the answer is no. They will not. The Lakers will not repeat as champions, and that is coming from me. Probably the biggest Lakers fan you will meet is telling you that they will not win the title this year, even with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Because there is no way in hell that Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden are going down to the Lakers. They gotta win. With the team they have, they gotta win. There's no getting around that. Kevin Durant, if those three are healthy, I have them making out of the Eastern Conference and winning the championship. I don't know in how many games yet, but LeBron and AD are expected to play. I have the Lakers going to the finals and then losing to the Brooklyn Nets in the finals. These three guys on the Brooklyn Nets, man, KD, Kyrie, and Harden, these guys are nothing to sneeze at. And Kyrie and KD, they want LeBron in the finals. We all know that. They might not say it, but they want LeBron in the finals. James Harden wants that title on his resume. I got the Brooklyn Nets winning this year. As big of a Lakers fan as I am, I'm still going to be rooting for them. But I think it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets at the end of the day that come out with the victory and going to win the NBA title this year. So to answer the question directly, as much as it hurts, no, the Lakers will not repeat as champions. I'll be happy if they do. I will be very, very happy if they do, but I don't see it happening, especially if all three guys are healthy. So, on to some baseball now, which I haven't talked about in a while. So, is Shohei Ohtani the best show in sports? I mean, the guy's on a roll right now. So, like I said just now, the guy's on a roll. He's playing phenomenal. He's 271 batting. He's also a great pitcher. We get this guy. This guy's a generational talent, right? You rarely see. Nobody's really ever done this before. We get all that, but the greatest show in sports is playing over in San Francisco and can pull up from the parking lot. If you guys don't know, his name is Steph Curry. It's a light-skinned brother by the name of Steph Curry. That's the greatest show in sports right now. When you talk about the three-point shooting, the marksmanship, the movement without the ball, I'm not even talking numbers. I'm talking about the most entertaining player, player to watch in sports right now is Steph Curry. 37, 41, 39, 46. Ended off the season on 48 and 46 points. I mean, he's absolutely unstoppable. When you talk about a player you don't know how to guard that keeps defenses guessing when you adjust their defense, and then he finds somewhere else to do you wrong and to score still, that is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the greatest show in sports right now. There is no getting around that. There is no greatest show. I get it. Shohei Ohtani is great. He's great. He's, like I said, a generational talent, a great pitcher, a great batter. He has 271 batting right now. They're the 4th seed in their conference currently. They're a few games under 500. I get all of that. But look, Steph Curry is Steph Curry. This is the greatest shooter that God has ever created. And, he's the greatest show. When you talk about the ball handling, the shooting, the movement without the basketball, the mobility, all that stuff, when you talk about that, and an entertaining show to watch, I'm not talking numbers here. I am not talking numbers here. I'm talking about specifically who is more entertaining, who is the greatest show in basketball. It's really hard to be the greatest show in baseball, as much as I love those baseball guys over there. It is really hard to be the best show in baseball. Even though a few players did it, back in the day. But right now, the greatest show in sports is Steph Curry, because the brother is lighting it up right now. So this is actually the last question of the day. I didn't expect me to get through these questions that fast, but it wasn't a lot of questions, less than we've been getting. But final question: who wins Game 1, the Knicks or the Hawks? Now look, I'm a Lakers fan, and I'll say that so many times. But look, I love New York City, man. I know people there. I love New York City. If I wasn't a Lakers fan, I'd probably be a Knicks fan. I won't lie to you. If I wasn't a Lakers fan, I'd be a Knicks fan. I love the Knicks. I love the Knicks. I'm taking them to win this series in 7 games. The New York Knicks will win this series. Now, look, I get it. Trae Young is spectacular. John Collins, Clint Capella, all those guys. Don't even get me started on Gallinari. I mean, he might stumble and, run out of the arena as soon as he gets into Madison Square Garden. And so, don't even get me started on that. I get it. The Hawks have a good team, but they're too young. They're too young. When you talk about an MVP candidate in Julius Randle, when you talk about a Derrick Rose, RJ Barrett is beginning to, play even better each day, each game. So, I think these guys are going to win it. The New York Knicks will go to the second round and beat the Atlanta Hawks in 7 games. Mark my word, it's going to happen. I'm not going to guarantee like Chuck does, because we saw what happened last night when he guaranteed the Wizards would win. When he guaranteed that the Hornets would win. So I'm not going to guarantee that. I don't think I have bad as luck as Chuck, but I have my history of making bad predictions. But yeah, that is going to wrap it up for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this short podcast. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in on the Instagram side and the Facebook side. Not sure if I'll be uploading a video today. I got some training to do. Gonna go work out and all that stuff. Train, gotta get that working, doing a lot of things in the day. But anyway, man, I'll see y'all here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Take it easy, y'all. Stay cool, stay safe, and I'm gone.